Hello, my name is Jacob Monk. Welcome to a little video about Donald Trump's war against Europe. Well, Donald Trump is the current president of USA. It's 2019. I hope he will not be re-elected, but at the moment he's the president of USA and he is trying all he can to harm Europe, to destroy Europe, to make it impossible for us to unite Europe. Let me give you an example. Here we have Donald Trump's advisor. I suppose he's not advisor anymore, but now Donald Trump has some new advisors with just about the same opinion. This guy here is called Steve Bannon. You can see him here on the picture. And in this paper he's quoted for saying, "I support the nations in Europe one by one, independent nations cooperating against international rules without any cross-national bureaucrats and rules that is against any kind of European Union." So Steve Bannon and of course also Donald Trump, they supported the individual nations of Europe. That is France, Germany, Italy, Spain, Denmark, Lithuania, Poland, Hungary, Portugal, and so on and so forth. They don't want us to unite. Why not? Because when we unite, we can develop our own economy, our own industry. We are not so dependent of USA. They want us to increase our military budgets, to buy American weapons in a so-called war against Russia. But Russia is not the enemy of Europe, not at all. Our only enemy in this world is USA, because USA wants to split us up. That means to make all of us more weak, more poor, and more dependent of US imperialism. That's why they go against Nord Stream 2, that can deliver cheap and secure natural gas from Russia to Europe. USA and Donald Trump goes against that. They say we boycott any company supporting that. We have to buy American gas, very cheap, very insecure, and that makes us totally dependent of USA. But USA is not our friend, it is our enemy. USA wants to make us more poor. If it's so good to be independent small states, then why don't USA start with dissolving the American Union? They have 50 states in USA. They can dissolve the union and make 50 independent states fighting against each other with each a separate currency, separate rules, separate police, separate everything. The more nationalistic you divide yourself, the more poor and weak you will get. And that is what the Americans want. That is why Donald Trump wants to dissolve Europe. He's so happy that UK left Europe. And personally, it's okay for me, because UK was only an American agent in the European project. We want a united Europe, and the center of this united Europe is Germany. That is why the Americans keep on showing anti-German movies in the Hollywood cinemas all over the world. They want to keep Germany down. And that is the same purpose that the American so-called defense cooperation called NATO has. Well, the official goal of this organization when it started was to keep Russia out and keep Germany down. That is how they formulated the idea of NATO. Keep Russia out and keep Germany down. That is, keep USA in, support Jewish economy, support Jewish military industry, support Jewish imperialism. 900 military bases all over the world. That is how USA controls the world and suppress any kind of opposition. That is why USA want to start up a war against China with center in the South Chinese Sea. That's why they have their fleet placed there. They also want to make the conflict with Russia growing. And now in the future, the conflict with Europe, first of all with Germany, the center of Europe, will be growing too, because Donald Trump is so very afraid that Germany wants to unite with Russia. The biggest threat against American imperialism is a unification, a political unification of Russia and Germany. That's why this is the primary goal of any kind of American foreign policy. To keep Russia out, to keep Germany down. That's what they want. They don't want Germany to have nuclear weapons, of course. They don't want Europe to have a united army, of course. They want Germany to be suppressed by the several 100,000 American soldiers occupying Germany at the moment. They were placed there during Second World War, and the Americans do not want to draw them back. They want to control Germany and control Europe. Well, we don't have democracy, we don't have independence in Europe as long as the American soldiers are occupying. America also wants to suppress the Chinese and European economy. They have all kind of sanctions against Russia, so Europeans, we can't trade with Russia. It's much cheaper and more easy for us to trade with Russia than to trade with USA. The products are cheaper, the transportation ways are shorter. So seen from an economic point of view, all kind of trade with Russia is a great benefit. And all kind of trade with China, going by the new Silk Road, so-called Belt and Road, coming from China, crossing over Eurasia and Russia, coming into Europe. This is a great benefit for the Europeans, but USA and Donald Trump don't want that. They want to keep the Europeans as slaves. They want America, USA to be a colonial power and Germany to be one of their main colonies. That is the idea. They have some small prostitute countries like Denmark and Norway running after USA to try to please USA in any way, political, economically. That is why here in Denmark the state has just banned Huawei IT company. They don't want to have Huawei infrastructure here in Denmark because Donald Trump has told the Danish politicians that the Chinese will spy with Huawei. So therefore they've bought some other infrastructure, probably something coming from USA, and that means that USA will spy instead. Well, USA is already now spying by the internet, by all kind of American IT infrastructure. USA is spying all over the world. Even Angela Merkel, the German chancellor, her private mobile phone was monitored by the American intelligence service. So that means that every European is the target of American espionage, and we are all observed by the American IT infrastructure. That is why Americans don't want us to buy Huawei phones. Although Huawei phones, they are cheaper and better, more technological advanced than the American Apple phones. But Donald Trump wants us to use Apple, although it's poor, it's more poor, it's more expensive, it's a worse IT company than Huawei. Well, Europe has to decide, do we want to have an independent future, or do we want to be an American colony? The discussion is going on in Germany, and I hope they will decide to make Germany an independent country. My own small country, Denmark, will continue being a prostitute running after USA for some years to come. But in the end, we will have to accept that it's more convenient for us to trade with Germany than to trade with USA. And Germany and Russia, that is Eurasia, is very close to us, and their technology is just as good and even better than the American technology. And remember, American iPhones, they are made in China too. It's not only Huawei that is made in China, also so-called American technology. So the future is a future of war. The basic conflict will be not Russia and USA, no, and probably not USA and China. The basic conflict will be Europe and USA. USA is banning NATO. I'm happy they are doing so. Forget everything about NATO. NATO is only an instrument for American foreign policy. We don't want NATO. We want to be independent. We want to trade with every kind of potential trading partner that can sell cheap and well-made products to us in IT sector and in every other sector. And that means we want to trade with China, Russia, and Asia first of all. Well, the future is coming also to Europe. If we want to develop, we will have to rethink our economical future. Our enemy in the future is USA. Our friends are Asia, China, and Russia. Thank you for listening.